Hello, welcome back to Behind the Faders, the live sound channel. This video is going to be different. The last video was different because I was showing you around. This video is different because it's not educational. It's about something else. These days, the world of music, and especially the world of rock music, is mourning the death of Ozzy Osbourne. And it is difficult to wrap your head around the fact that he's gone, especially if you're a little bit older. Ozzy was always there. Ozzy was on the front page cover of the magazine that reviewed the first record I've ever done as a musician decades ago. And as Alice Cooper put it nicely, saying, we all know that death is coming for us rockers, but when the giants fall, it's still difficult to believe. And that is the case in a way. And now everybody is telling their Ozzy stories all over social media. And I thought, why not me? My story, I consider only half of Ozzy's story because Ozzy himself plays no role in the story, but it's related to this channel because it's a story about his monitor setup. Must have been early 2000. It was kind of close to the end of the analog era, I think. Ozzy was playing a show near Hanover, and the company that I mostly worked for provided equipment and manpower. And I was the front of house assistant on that show. But I saw his monitor setup. As side fills, I can't remember how many subs, but he had 6 Maya Sound MS-04, which at the time were among the strongest, most powerful PA boxes. If you're not familiar with them, here's a picture. I think they were stacked in 3 stacks of 2. Really powerful, even though I have to admit later on when working with Metallica and Manowar, I saw stronger side fills, but in those days that was really, really powerful. In front of him he had 6 Clare Brothers wedges, which I think also were supposed to be the loudest wedges at the time. Maybe they still are. These things were really loud, like in a V shape in front of him. And behind him, he had 2 flown PA boxes. I think they were German brand DNB, and they were called F2. I think it was a double 10 2-inch horn thing. I can't remember. Maybe double 12. I can't really remember. But 2 boxes right behind him, pointing at stage center. Now, of course, Ozzy was using the entire stage, but he could be sure if he couldn't hear himself anywhere else, which I find pretty unlikely given the size of those side fills, he could always come back to stage center to get the real treat. And also, which was unusual, the monitor engineer used no graphic EQs. He used Yamaha PM4000N. So if you still know a little about the analog age, you know that the Yamaha PM4000 was a very successful console, but they also made a monitor version which had parametric EQs on all mixes. And he probably did that. I mean, I didn't ask him, but the thing is, if you use graphic EQs, even analog graphic EQs, you create a little bit of phasing issues, and that steals a little bit of energy. So I think the guy tried to squeeze every last dB out of the system by not using graphic EQs. And it might have taken him a long time to figure it out in the first place. And he also was EQ'd it very carefully on that day. And he did it all on his own. You know, the usual procedure for EQing monitors back then was the monitor engineer would be standing in front of the microphone on stage, and he would have some kind of assistant at the monitor desk, and he would tell him what to do. Like, bring it up a little bit more. Stop, please. Take out 2.5K by 2 dB. Thanks, turn it up a little bit more. Or there's something in the low mid happening. Can you bring up 300? A little bit more. No, that's not it. Try 250. That's it. Turn it down by 3 dB. That kind of thing was going on. But not this guy. He ran back and forth between desk and microphone because it's probably a bit more difficult to tell somebody else what to do on a parametric EQ. And while he was on his way from the microphone to his desk, a local stagehand probably saw the once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to talk into Ozzy's mic. Now, Ozzy's voice was very, very unique, but it wasn't powerful, it wasn't loud. And when the monitor engineer talked into this mic, he was not even speaking up. He did it with a very calm voice because it was probably painful for him, this kind of volume around him. But this guy stepped up to the microphone and at the top of his lungs shouted, "Hey!" into it. You might know these flashbangs that the police uses if they want to capture people in a room. They're throwing these flashbangs, and when they go off, they blind people for a little while and they make them deaf because of the very loud bang, and sometimes people faint from this bang. And that was exactly what happened to that guy shouting into that microphone. He shouted, "Hey!" and literally fell over. And he was gone for a few seconds until he got up again, obviously being very dizzy, very confused. That was how loud this monitor system was. If you like this channel, the usual content of this channel, please subscribe. Still 80% of the people watching my content are not subscribed, and it helps me so much. If you want to support the channel a little, give me super thanks. And if you have a lot of questions about all kinds of live sound, consider booking yourself a one-on-one coaching call. That's it for today. Bye-bye.